Hi, friends. I'm Katie.
And I'm Lauren, and welcome to Okay, but Did You Know? A podcast where we talk about the TV and media that we love with a friend who's never seen it before.
Today, we're recapping and chatting about Bob's Burgers, Season 5, Episode 5, Best Burger, and Episode 6, Father of the Bob. But we always start off with a synopsis, so here is Best Burger. Bob and Linda signed up for the local food festival's Best Burger contest. After the contest begins, Bob realizes he doesn't have the main ingredient for his black garlic burger. He asks the kids to go get the black garlic from the restaurant, but Gene crushes the garlic in the process. Bob tells the kids to go to Fig Jam to buy more. Only the kids were very recently banned from the store. The kids end up stealing the black garlic and getting chased by the store owner, Ray. Bob keeps cooking and realizes he set himself up for failure subconsciously since he relied on Gene to have his main ingredient, while the girls explain to Gene that Gening out is what the family says when he screws things up. To prove he can do well, Gene insists on being the one to run the black garlic through the food festival to their dad. He makes it past all the food stalls without stopping, and Bob finishes his burger just in time. Skip wins the contest, but they return to the restaurant with a line to the door. I did it.
You did it.
All right, so what did you get for our vacant storefront?
Flip your wig reversible hair pieces.
And like the sign is actually open
Yeah,
with a wig.
I saw that.
It's so funny. Pest control van.
Spray it, don't say it, pest control.
That's a good one.
That is clever. I'll give him that one.
And your burger of the day.
So there were two burgers. There was the one from
Technically,
technically
yes.
two. There was one on the board, and there was the one at the competition. So the competition burger is the Bet It All on Black Garlic Burger, which came with black garlic mayo.
Which sounds delicious.
I think so. And the one that was on the board was the Gorgonzola Run Burger, made with Gorgonzola.
So what's really cool is this was the play on the movie Run Lola Run, which inspired the title for this episode. So they tied everything together, which is really fun. You have some new characters. You have
Yes.
Ray.
Mm-hmm.
So Ray is played by Andy Daly, who has lots of credits. But he's in a lot of things. He likes his adult animation because he's been in The Great North, Crepopolis, which I need you to get you to finish because oh my god, American Dad. But he was also the doctor in Lessons in Chemistry.
Oh, okay.
Which of course makes me happy because I love that book, love that show.
Mm-hmm.
We have Thomas Lennon returns as Chuck because
He's
happy to be there. Skip, did you figure out who that was?
Okay, I know his face, and I know that I've seen him because he's in the Eternals, right?
Yes, he is in Eternals.
So I know the actor. I do not know his name.
Kumal Nanjiani. I'm
Gotcha.
trying to make sure I'm saying it correctly, which is very cool. My favorite thing is he is Pakistani American, and Skip is also from Pakistan. So I really love that they kept the character the same of his own ethnicity. And then, so I actually really love this. I did not realize David Herman, who voices Frond and some other characters, he is Manny.
Okay.
He's been in almost every adult animation show there is. I don't think I've really talked about him as much, but I finally looked into how many characters he actually voices on Bob's Burgers. It's pretty much the same amount that H. John Benjamin does. So he is our other Seth MacFarlane of Bob's Burgers, apparently.
Yeah.
David Herman voices someone in every single episode, pretty much.
Honestly, from a production perspective, and this is what a lot of voice actors will say, this is what gets you hired, and this is what really helps, is production will be like, why hire 15 guys when I can hire one? Be as versatile as you can.
All these voices.
Look at the Simpsons is the same 5 people.
Exactly.
And
Family Guy.
It's the same 5 people, and it's mostly the same 3 guys, with the exception of a few other characters that might be someone else. But you have these people that all write play hundreds of characters.
And then you have South Park.
Yes, then you have.
It's
South Park.
2 guys that do everything. It's the same guy for everything. It's 2 guys that do it together. It's just those 2, and they do all of it.
I love watching those behind the scenes things of them recording, talking to themselves, because sometimes that's just what it is.
I saw a thing that one of the original creators of Rick and Morty used to actually get drunk to be able to voice Rick. He's no longer I think it's Justin Roiland is the one. One of the 2 are no longer a part of the show due to some things that happened.
Yeah.
I actually like the show now that he's not there. I like it better, but not everybody feels the same.
Gotcha.
The working title for this episode was Run Belcher's Run, but of course we ended up on Best Burger. I kind of like Run Belcher's Run.
Yeah.
A little bit more, but this is the one they went with. Of course, it's the parody of Run, Lola Run, so the script cover is also the same.
Mm-hmm.
This is the first episode that Ron appears without Hugo.
Interesting. I mean, yes, I agree with that, but interesting. I wouldn't have put that together.
Yeah, it's the only time we see him. Well, not, I don't think it's the only time. It's the first time.
Mm-hmm.
Which is funny because he's so much nicer when Ron's not around. He's just
Yeah.
so chill. Like, I love that he's such a simple guy. Like, the pedicab is his
Yeah.
splurge for the week.
Well, I think he's always been more on the chill side, I would say. When it comes to him and
Mhm.
Hugo, he usually is kind of there to kind of mellow Hugo out a little bit.
Yeah. And then the last note I have for this is that the man riding in Manny's pedicab
Mm-hmm.
is passed out drunk by the time Ray starts running back towards Fig Jam. So he
Mm.
enjoys the ride and then passes out. And he has a cup in his hand and everything throughout the ride with Manny's driving. And it's just really funny because he passes out drunk at the end of it. Like, but that's all I really have apart from like a ton of my chaos notes are just lines from this
Mm-hmm.
episode because once again we've got another episode that's like top tier lines
Yep.
throughout it. But I'm really excited to hear what you think.
We have Hush. I can't hear them cooking. It's like this. I mean, I love a good competition episode. I feel like it kind of increases the stakes a lot of times, and what can otherwise be a more like monotonous story structure. You have like there was very clear stakes, and like the timing of that clock was pretty dead on to 20 minutes.
It really was.
Like
I love that they did that.
I think it was almost exact. I think it ended at the 17-minute mark of the episode. I think I checked.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like very close though, but it's like it's very close. You feel the stakes of them cooking, but like the very beginning, I was like, is Linda just here to yell encouragement at him, or is she there to help cook?
She helps a little bit, but it's mostly her yelling at him.
She spent the entire 20 minutes cutting the same tomato.
But like her also cheering throughout all of it. And I'm like,
Yeah.
yes, we know. Linda loves a good cheer.
She does, but she spent 20 minutes cutting the same tomato.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I said every woman has a half-eaten granola bar in her purse.
Every woman. I think I just don't have one right now because I haven't bought granola bars in a few weeks.
There you go.
I love the line when I think he's talking to Skip and he just goes, I would love to meet her. He just goes, too late. Like, how quickly that's very like, oh my God, but also hilarious at the same time.
Yeah.
So freaking funny.
Mm-hmm. I picked up on Jimmy Pesto calling his restaurant Italian flavored foods.
Yes.
Italian flavored foods.
And just wanting to go with the oregano burger. I love Tread, like him yelling out the big O. That was fucking funny.
Yeah.
But can you imagine eating a burger that's just only seasoned with oregano?
That's not good.
No, thank you.
Like, oregano is it can be a good seasoning base.
Yes.
If that's going to be like, like the, that creamy lemon pasta thing that I make a lot.
Mm-hmm.
The seasoning blend of that, I think it's, the biggest chunk of it, like it's like 4 parts oregano to like 2 or 3 parts of everything else. Like but
you gotta have
a good base.
Other things with it.
Yeah, it's got that one has like it's got basil and rosemary and garlic powder, and sometimes it has cayenne depending on who I'm making it for. Like it's a good seasoning blend, but like it's not just oregano; it's other things.
Yeah,
oregano like as a sole seasoning. Like I mean, obviously there's other seasoning in the pizza, but like I will do oregano just as like an extra topping on pizza. Like I'll just like where other people will usually put like Parmesan or chili flakes. I'll do like extra oregano. That's what I like in pizza, but also I've never been compelled to add extra Parmesan onto pizza, and I think that's just because of the way that I grew up.
that sounds about right. We're a
Like
mozzarella
my dad
people, so
like my dad just doesn't he doesn't like cheese. Like he eats mozzarella because it's the least cheese like cheese. But he has hated cheese his entire life.
I went mostly plant-based again recently, like mostly vegan diet, and had to like go back to cheese. Like as a lactose intolerant, I was still like, no, I need cheese. I couldn't.
Cheese is important.
Vegan cheese just isn't the same. And it's not meant to be the same. It's supposed to be its own thing. But I don't want everything I eat to taste so earthy.
Yeah. I had a vegan chicken sandwich.
Oh, those are good. Personally, where
that was really good because I think it was made out of lion's mane mushroom. I think.
Oh, those are the best.
I think that's what they made it out of.
Oh.
And it had some kind of vegan cheese on it, but it was almost kind of just there for texture because if there was any kind of flavor to it, it was kind of overpowered by the mayo it was like a black sesame miso mayo, I think.
The miso might have overdone it on the saltiness because if you're frying, was it fried?
Yeah, it was fried.
Yeah, when you're frying something, you don't want to go too salty because frying it in itself makes it kind of salty. So that's probably what did it.
Yeah. So the cheese was just there for texture. I think at the end of the day, I think it I think it needed a pickle of some kind
I
to kind of even it
some
out a little
some
bit.
acid.
Acid a little bit. Either way, it was a delicious sandwich. I cannot complain.
I just need everyone to start commenting on our episodes when they're listening to this, so I know when we're making people hungry. Because we have definitely had a big, like, we talk about food, I think, almost every, not just every Bob's episodes, but we do it with Once Upon a Time too.
Well, the Once Upon a Time episode that went out today is
Yep.
Did you know you shouldn't listen to this episode hungry?
Like,
And it was pertinent to the Once Upon a Time episode because we spent a good 5 minutes talking about dipping sauces.
and then the episode for once that everybody's hopefully already listened to is we talk about lasagna.
Yes. So can you tell we like food?
Yeah. And onto the whole thing too, food and wine. But the entire scene, I almost wrote the whole scene down, but then I was like, that's a little much. But just Bob and Linda getting drunk off wine and yelling about, we're going to do it. And Louise just being very blatant, y'all need to stop.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear this. No one wants to hear this. And I love her for that because I think we're all had that at some point in our lives that we wanted to yell at our parents, please stop. We don't want to hear this. But we were too embarrassed to do so. But then I did love that moment though when Chuck walks over and he's all angry at Bob because he's angry at the Belchers the entire time, which is somewhat warranted. But
to be fair, they did get him fired.
They did, but I love that I didn't get you fired. Linda did, and Linda with no cares in the world. Hi, Chuck. Like she does not care.
No, not at all. None whatsoever. I did love the random overly expensive specialty food store.
Yes, they all exist, but I did.
Yeah, there's every beach town has one of those like random specialty food stores, and like
I love
Big Jam's
them.
A good name.
I love those though.
The
things you find there.
I don't disagree with the kids though that bar of chocolate probably was overpriced.
Oh, the bar of chocolate is always overpriced. Like,
oh yeah,
I like to go to Fresh Market from time to time. That's about as nice as we get. Our Whole Foods closed. Like anything nicer is usually it closes quickly where I'm from. Yeah. Southerners are not always up to par in smaller areas to go and eat to get specialty foods like that. We're very few and far between. I think our Whole Foods only lasted a couple of years before it tanked.
They used to have a chocolate that was like it had like espresso beans like in the chocolate.
Oh,
that was good.
I'm a slut for espresso. So now that I can have caffeine again.
Yeah.
I did love the line. It's not like we have a lot of honor to spare. This family completely knows who they are and they're very happy with it.
A no is just a yes upside down.
Yeah. How do you feel about Mickey immediately? Like, oh, the kids said they stole something. I'm helping. I've got someone in the back. You stole something. I'm your getaway driver. Let's go. Like Mickey is just that uncle that everyone can't help but love. The criminal uncle, at least.
Yeah, he really is, and like he's ready to go and he's ready to help. He's the donor figure when they need it.
Exactly.
Like they need a random person, sure. Although I wasn't a big fan of Ron throwing the library book amidst the pedicab chase.
I love how
as a book lover,
immediately he was like, I shouldn't have done that.
Yeah, exactly. Like as a book lover, as someone with a library degree, we don't throw the library books, but I do love a random car chase with pedicabs because it just makes them. I gotta show you the car chase from What's Up Doc. Like without context, the car chase is just nuts.
I just need to watch it at this point. I mean, I'm gonna watch it anyways eventually, but I need to just see this car chase scene so bad.
We'll make What's Up Doc a movie for whenever we eventually do movies.
Definitely. Oh, I'm down.
Because I've seen that one way too many times. But out of context, the car chase is just hilarious because like so much happens in it. At one point, they are on a bike, and then eventually they steal a VW Bug, and then there's also people carrying a random pane of glass across the street that they have to try and like avoid, and then like the guys like walking back and forth with it. It's
slapstick comedy.
It's a screwball comedy from the 70s. The only way I can describe that entire movie is none of it makes any sense. But it has some of the best lines out of context as well. Like my dad and I like will randomly just start quoting each other lines out of context but to be fair, they're in context. But like it's just it makes no sense to the average on listener if I just say to my dad like what's one thing that I say all the time? Fuck. My brain's like I do this all the time.
I do this. The brain's like, no, you don't.
No, you don't.
Don't you lie.
like one of like out of context is like the hotel manager says to one of the characters because he's looking for something and he has convinced her that it's so he can search her room. He says that a snake has escaped from someone's room, and he says to go shut yourself in the bathroom for a moment while I go figure this out. And she goes, "Oh, what if it's in there?" It's like no, madam, like uh, the snake will be in there. As you know, snakes live in mortal fear of tile.
Oh my god. Speaking of like the library, we like our grammar. How did you
Mm-hmm.
feel about the, oh my god, I'm a verb, I'm a bad verb, you're a burb, I'm a burb? They got
I didn't
Shakespearean on
like
us.
it. Did get a little Shakespearean on us. I felt bad for Gene though that
Yeah.
he is learning that his existence is not something you want to be associated with, which is not nice.
He
He's doing
redeemed
his
himself, but
best.
he redeemed
He
himself.
redeemed himself.
The family realized, oh shit, we've been a little hard on him.
Yeah, exactly. And I did say at the beginning he was being a little Teddy like
Mm-hmm.
with the not knowing where to look, but he's trying for his age. He's
He's
trying.
trying. I love the text message that we get when the
Mm.
kids text Linda, got garlic, broke log. Let me try that again. Got garlic, broke law, you fix later, on our way, smiley face. And Linda's response is, oh, smiley face. Like, they are
Yeah.
so unfazed. Like, how often do their children break the law? They're like, that's fine.
Apparently, very often.
Very often. There's just so many good lines.
There is, and I at the very end I wrote down, "Hooray for Bob! He did what he does every day for a living."
Right? Just under more stress. He's up against some interesting people.
Yeah,
Um, Heavy on the interesting. The
yeah.
judges,
I would say
though, exquisite mouthfeel.
I understand the definition of mouthfeel. I hate that word so
It's
much.
it's the equivalent to moist.
Yeah, it's just because no one ever says mouthfeel without it sounding creepy.
Yeah, exactly.
It's impossible.
And the last line I wrote down though was, "I'll cut through the crowd like fart through butter." And I'm like, Louise, what does this mean?
I don't.
That's what
It's
she
just some
said.
things aren't meant to be understood.
No, not from a, like, what is she, 9?
Yeah.
What did you rate this?
So this one got a 9 for plot because this was A plus chaos. I got an 8 for character, mainly because I felt bad for Gene for
That's
most of
fair.
when he realized that that his existence has been used as an insult, basically, which isn't very nice for an 11-year-old.
No.
And it gets another 9 for personal because this was good chaos, and I've definitely seen. I was telling you earlier, one of the first binging with Babish YouTube videos I ever saw was him making a bunch of different burgers from Bob's Burgers, one of which being the best, being the Bet It All and Black Garlic Burger. So like I had seen clips of I've definitely seen this clip before. So this gets a 26 out of 30.
That's not bad.
That was a good score.
I gave 10 for plot because I love the plot. I do. Personal is 10 as well. It's just one of those episodes you kind of look back on that you really enjoy. I only gave 9 for character, kind of for the same reasons as you. Like, it is really sad how Gene's treated in this. So it's a 29, which is so funny. We keep going on like, oh, it's so hard to get a 29. We got like 3 in a row.
Yeah.
Between the two
Well,
of us.
I mean, okay. Yeah, I was saying because you gave last week's once episode a 29. I gave this week's a 29, and then so like I would say a 29 still. It's a hard score to give. Not that it's like an uncommon score, like whatever. I feel like it's a hard score to give because it's hard to give just one category one less point.
It really is, but like this is one of those situations I feel like we both see it eye to eye of like it's really sad. Like I like that the family realizes, oh, we fucked up, let's fix this. Like we shouldn't be treating him like this, or he's going to continue to think that he is this, and they do fix their behavior, which this is where the show starts to get more on the emotional side, not just the comedy, which we're about to see in season 5, episode 6, Father of the Bob.
Oh yeah.
It's Christmas time again, and we meet Big Bob, Bob's father. Big Bob isn't a big fan of Baby Bob's burger creations, leading to a strained relationship between the two later in life. Linda is making the family attend Big Bob's Christmas party, but Bob has a 15-minute rule. He only spends time with his dad for 15-minute intervals. The kids realize they didn't get anything for their dad for Christmas, and Big Bob lets them use items in his basement to make Bob a gift. Linda gets Bob to help cook at the restaurant, insisting Christmas magic will bring them back together. Big Bob and Bob struggle to get along in the kitchen, leading to them competing with one another to make food for their regular Henry. Big Bob leaves the restaurant after their argument, and Bob learns through his kids' Christmas present that his father has saved memories of Bob's Burgers. A mysterious cowboy Santa shows up and tells Bob to come with him. Just kidding, it's the owner of the gay bar next door. They make amends while line dancing and return to the restaurant where the kids have jumped in to help Linda run the restaurant while they were gone. You met Bob's dad.
I did meet Bob's dad, played by Bill Hader.
I love that you pick up. Yeah,
Right?
you're right. I was going to get to that, but I'm proud
His
of you.
Now that his voice is like now that I know to
Yeah.
recognize it, because like that's the thing of like, well, when the first episode he's in, I recognized him as the robot before I
Yes.
recognized him as Mickey.
Which is interesting though, because originally Big Bob was not going to be played by Bill Hader. I said Mickey. It was actually going to be H. John Benjamin.
I mean, other shows have done that where like they'll
Yeah.
do like The Simpsons, like both Homer and Grandpa Simpson are played by Dan Castellaneta, which like he's explained it's like it's basically the same voice just with a few extra things added on.
Well,
to it.
in the episode Bob Fires the Kids, when you have Bob, Little Bob and Big Bob talking behind off screen, Big Bob's talking. It is H. John Benjamin.
Gotcha.
So he's not always voiced by Bill Hader, but I did enjoy they were like, let's have him do it. But since it is our Christmas episode, our puns are Christmas themed. So what did you get for the vacant storefront?
Miracle on 34th sheets and bedding in 34 colors.
I mean, that's not actually that bad. But maybe don't have a Christmas themed store all year round.
Yeah.
Pest control van.
Not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse. Pest control.
That was a mouthful.
It was. There are quite a few burgers if you consider every single burger that Bob ever spewed in this episode, because I think I
only got my main two. I wrote down the one that is, of course, at the restaurant, and of course the main one he makes that is very popular, I might add, later on. I did not write down all the other ones that he says.
I did.
I'm very happy that you did, because they went by so fast and my iPad was dying. I was like, oh no!
Yes, so including the main one from the flashback as well as the one that's on the board, I have 7 burgers if you include all the ones he just starts spouting.
I'll do the 2 that I have, and I'm going to let you just do the rest. But the one that was in the restaurant is Jesus is Born Burger. Comes with baby Swiss. This is supposed to be Jesus is Born. I actually prefer Jesus, just saying.
Yeah, right.
And then the one burger that's very, very important in this I almost said recipe. Then the burger that is very important in this episode, Baby You Can Chive My Car Burger. This comes with sour cream, chives, and fried pickle wheels. I have actually made this burger in my lifetime, and it is fucking delicious.
Fried pickles on a burger sounds delicious, in my opinion.
The aioli, the pickle, like it is a really good. Like if you can get the recipe book, I highly recommend it. That is one of we did a few of them from the cookbook when I had it because it got messed up. Yeah. I need to get a new copy on it. They need to release another copy.
Yeah.
But it is an amazing burger. I highly recommend making it. But I am excited to hear all the other burgers you picked up on.
So there's also the crispy Brinkley burger.
What is that supposed to be?
Christine Brinkley, I'm guessing.
But what do you put on it?
I don't know. Something crispy. There was the Richard Persimmons burger.
With persimmons?
With persimmons. The Greed is Gouda burger. Also Gouda. With Gouda, I would assume. I'm Sprouta here burger, which could be either with like sprouts, Brussels sprouts, micro sprouts, whatever you want to consider. And the I'd be cheddar off better literally anywhere but here burger.
Another mouthful, but like that's just a burger with cheddar cheese, I guess.
Exactly, I would assume. But because that's what he was yelling at him as he was leaving the restaurant after he was like, because like I appreciate Big Bob wanting to include his son in his business, but also maybe understand
be more
whether
accepting of him.
Be more accepting of what he wants to bring to the restaurant if you're going to include him as a partner.
Yeah. So you already pegged that Big Bob is Bill Hader. I'm pretty sure you know who Pete is, our cowboy Santa.
Oh, that was Nick Offerman.
Nick Offerman. I love that he'll play any character.
Yes, have him play the gay cowboy bar owner.
It's awesome.
That makes perfect sense. Because, like, that's a man who's, like, so secure in his masculinity, in his sexuality, in everything. He's so secure in himself. He will literally do anything.
Because he doesn't see, like, there's anything wrong with that. He's so comfortable with himself. He has such an amazing relationship with his wife that, like, nothing could cause anything between the two of them, I think. Like, they're just so solid. Because he also, I mean, he does, it's not just voice acting playing gay characters. He did in, oh God, what is that show?
Last of Us.
Last of Us. He plays a gay
That one
character in that.
that won him an Emmy.
That won him an. Oh, did?
He
I didn't know he
won
won an Emmy from that.
yeah, because it was like, that's the thing, is it was part of like the Creative Arts Emmys, his category. It wasn't part of the main primetime Emmys, but I believe
Oh,
he won an Emmy for best guest performance in a
he
drama,
deserves
which
it.
the best, like, the guest performance is a specific Emmy off of the main primetime Emmys. But yes, it won him an award for that
That is
performance.
amazing. And then we have Henry, our special regular. I really actually
Yes.
loved finding out who played him. This was Carl Reiner, who was on the
Oh,
Dick
okay.
Van Dyke Show.
That makes
That
sense.
was
Now that you say
him.
that, that's absolutely his voice.
And then you have Max. Do you know who played Max?
I don't.
Jordan Peele.
Every time. Every time. Do you know who it was? No, Jordan Peele. Okay.
Every single time you don't know who it is, it's fucking Jordan Peele. This is what I mean when I'm like, he just appears in his characters and you never fucking know.
He's too
He's
good.
so good.
He's a chameleon.
This is obviously a parody of, like, the title is a parody of Father of the Bride from 1991.
Yep.
And the saddest part of this is the episode that is revealed that Bob's mother is no longer with us. It's not really giving anything away to let you know that she it's kind of obvious she died when he was very young. So it was only Big Bob and Little Bob since. We do get more information way later on about Bob's mom, and it's just one of those things that you can feel his pain. And this is what I mean by the emotional side of this show. This is where it kind of starts off. And it's a little depressing, but, like, it makes you kind of love Bob more, knowing, like, I love the whole scene at one point, and I think it was in Bob Fires the Kids when he's telling Lynn, like, I had a bad childhood. And she's like, I know. People who have good childhood don't stand like that.
Yeah.
That's the lines I remember.
That's also a TikTok
It
sound.
is a TikTok sound. The snow globe that Tina finds is of that is actually the Dallas skyline. And the show developer and executive producer, Jim Dotteriv, I'm so sorry if I'm butchering his name. It's confusing. Is native to Dallas. So that's like an homage to him. And then I sent it to you earlier today. Obviously, I'm going to put this in the show notes. Or did I send it yesterday? I don't know. I sent this to you.
Yes,
we have another lovely little thing from Lauren Bouchard's SoundCloud. I'm going to just have to sit and listen to everything he's got on this thing to figure out, because it's when you look at the title of it, I'm like, what is this? And you have to actually read the description of what it is, because the title makes no sense.
Yeah.
But we have an improvised deleted audio clip from his SoundCloud, and it's for this episode, and it's actually where they show Big Bob's drinking problem that he supposedly has, which there is a mug of beer.
Specifically with Bailey's.
Specifically with a mug of Bailey's, but we do see him also with a mug of beer at the gay bar.
Yeah, I can't get behind drinking a mug of Bailey's.
No, that makes no sense.
That, like, Bailey's in a drink, sure. Occasionally I'll do a shot of it if I got nothing else. But a whole mug? That's a lot of Bailey's.
That's a lot of Bailey's. I don't even drink anymore, and I'm like, no, thank you. Just, that sounds horrible.
I'm good.
Now, I mean, and some coffee sounds good. So that's all I have on fun facts. I am excited to see how you feel about this episode, but it's an emotional one more than a funny one.
It is.
So I don't know how you are about those episodes yet, because this is the first really emotional episode.
Yeah. No, it was, and it's. I did enjoy this episode, and we'll go through the chaos notes, and we'll get to the score later. I did like when he says we went 2 years ago, but then she said that was 7. Is that a reference to the fact that really no time has passed, even though this is the 5th season?
I think they I really feel
that was the point.
That they do that.
Those are very specific numbers.
Very specific numbers. I kind of like that they do that. His 15-minute rule is an interesting one, because in the flashbacks it's even like, I'm leaving my own house.
Yeah. I'm like, that sometimes, I mean, that's good boundary setting, I would say, for family. If there's a family member that triggers you, like, knowing how long you can be in their presence before something happens. Like, sometimes, like, I have members of my family that, like, I can't say I have a hard and fast number rule, but there are times where I'm like, at a certain point, I can only be nice for so much longer.
Oh, I have family members I don't think I've seen except maybe once in years, because I have such strict boundaries. And that's okay to have strict boundaries if it's something that's going to impede on your mental health. I get where Linda's coming from, where she's like, the kids are getting older, they're missing out on seeing their grandfather. you need to at least come to some form of amends. Like, of course, she's a lot more pushy with it, and Christmas magic being wine, it's just very
Yes.
Linda.
Christmas magic is wine. It's anything you want it to be.
Exactly. So I get Linda's perspective of life. I just need you to have a good enough relationship with your dad because this has been going on for so very long. But I see it as a mother, like a standpoint of like, we need to at least have some form of relationship because your mother's no longer with us. All we have is your dad. The kids deserve to have a relationship with their grandfather.
Who lives
Who lives
nearby.
nearby, driving distance. Like, so I really did. I get it. It sucks, like when it's your own parent, because that some people do reach that point where they have to have strict boundaries with their own parents. But I get where Linda's coming from.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Although the kids, what they're trying to get a present for Bob together was cute. The mistletoe was a good idea.
It really is.
In theory, Jean never had a chance, honestly.
Bathing in beans does not sound like it. Very much is a little boy who, with Jean's personality, that would do something like that. Like, it definitely fits with his character.
Oh, absolutely. I think out of the three of them, though, Tina had the best shot. Originally, because like a chair with a pad of paper attached to it, not the worst idea in the world. She might have overdid it a little bit, but like Louise's plan of the house of mousetraps probably would have been better if she hadn't armed them all first.
Yeah, but I mean, this is Louise.
But you don't have to arm them to stack them, just saying. But, one man's trash is another man's present for his father.
I wrote the same thing. I did also love when, like, Bob and Big Bob are going at it, and at the end of it, Linda just goes, and hug. Which is, I think we've all been in those moments with our family. Like, okay, it's over now.
Yep. All right. Just hug and move on. It's fine. Like, I think like that works better with siblings. You can kind of be like, okay, hug it out, figure it out. And it's a parent-child situation. I think it might be a little more complex than that. But line dancing, line dancing. This was the joke. Line dancing is a bad example of not everyone wants to dance the same way. As he says
that was perfect. But then you have the guy in the back. That's right. Be yourself, sister. Perfect.
It gave like the perfect, but it gave like the line dancing's bad example of not everyone wants to dance the same way joke. It gave the same joke of from Barbie when Margot Robbie goes, she's like, it's like, I'm not pretty. And then you hear Helen Mirren go, note to the writers of this movie, if you want to make this point, Margot Robbie is not the good choice for acting. For the actor.
She's very obviously like in no makeup when she says that, and I'm like, you're still gorgeous.
Yes, she's still Barbie.
You're still Barbie.
Like. So it gave that meta vibe, which I really did appreciate. But like, and there is something to be said about like having those kinds of conversations in that kind of situation. Because I think like the advice a lot of times people give, or parenting advice gives for like having hard talks with your kids, like if you do it in a car, because like metaphorically you don't have to look at each other. It helps without the eye contact, but metaphorically you're moving in the same direction. So there's like a level of closeness as you're talking of like you guys are still moving together, even though the conversation you're having is hard. So line dancing is not a bad example of that, I guess, with the exception of Bob doesn't know the moves, which is fair. Not everyone knows every line dance.
I don't know any.
I, unfortunately for me, know quite a few. Not like country line dances, but like
country line dances. I mean, I know what everybody knows, and that's Cotton Eye Joe. But that's I
know the Cotton Eye Joe. Thing. Like this is why I say like with being on the bar mitzvah circuit as a young child, I'm good with
circuit. Sorry,
that's what I used to call it. That's what I used to call it. But like I'm good with the electric slide, the Cotton Eye Joe, the cha-cha slide, like stuff like Cupid Shuffle. I'm good with those.
Country line dancing is a whole other world.
Well, because like the ones that like are like those are usually the ones that have like the call out. You've got someone calling the moves as they do them. That's a little different than I think what we saw in the episode. They're just kind of all doing something. But like I don't know any, but no, with the line dancing that I learned as a child. I was so good at some of it in my my high school gym class. At some point in the year, we'd have a dance unit that for the 9th and 10th graders was line dancing. For the 11th and 12th graders, it was like ballroom dancing. We would like do stuff with like the guys. But one year we were doing the electric slide, and my teacher was like, "Can you come up here and help me demonstrate?" I'm like, "Sure," because I clearly knew what I was doing.
That's a good thing.
I was very proud of myself. I knew the electric slide really well. I could go really fast.
Hey, you would not stick out too much at a cookout.
I can follow choreography.
There you go.
Do my own stuff? No. I cannot do my own stuff, but I can follow choreography.
That's the musical theater in you.
Literally.
But yeah, this was definitely an emotional episode. We
Oh
get
yeah.
these from time to time because we do like really like there are some episodes that have definitely made me cry. You have a
Yeah.
little while till you get to more of them. This is very much more of a comedy, but I love that Bob's. This is where for me, Bob's Burgers becomes family. It goes from just being something I really love
Hmm.
to watch. I love the characters to being like, oh fuck no, like I am invested.
Yeah.
And so I don't know how you feel. So I'm so far it seems good. I'm nervous,
Yeah, no,
but
this was an enjoyable episode.
it
It was.
was.
And like I do see what you mean, because you do need some level of emotion, because after a while, if you're just focusing on like one joke, one right after the other, the comedy constantly, you're not people still need to care about the
Yeah.
characters at the end of the day. And I think like this is where you get that, is like if people like aren't like, people might just be enjoying watching, the follies and foibles of these characters as the show goes on, but if they don't really have a chance to care about
Mm-hmm.
them at any point, if you don't want to see them, grow as characters in any capacity, or you have these like, if I didn't have some kind of connection to Gene, I wouldn't feel bad for him
Yeah,
in the last
exactly.
episode, that when he realizes like you need to have these moments to have time for people to care about the
Mm-hmm.
characters, so they come back to watch the comedy. And you create new viewers that way, especially if people just with shows like this where you can kind of just pop in at any point,
Yeah.
and you don't really need context for what's going on for the most part. So it's important to have these episodes sprinkled throughout the series, that way people continue to care about the characters, because you don't want to see them hurt or upset or have
Exactly.
hard times, but
But then you're able
it's a
to
natural part of
relate.
life.
This is also one of those things you're able to
Exactly.
relate. Like, because if you have lost a parent and you have like strenuous relationship with whatever parent you do have, like this is one of those moments you can feel seen. Because I did like while
Hmm.
they're coming together, them amending the argument isn't exactly like what I would like to see always from the older parent.
Hmm.
It kind of sets a reminder of like our parents and us as parents, I know you're not one, but I am, are trying our hardest. And I recently saw a
Hmm.
TikTok where someone was like, oh, the parents in Bob's Burgers are not the best parents. Like people keep saying they are. And in my
Hmm.
opinion, they are. Because no matter what, they are trying their hardest for their kids and their
Yeah.
family. And I feel like a lot of people think you've got to be this perfect parent, but like within Bob's Burgers, this shows you don't have to be perfect. You just need to try.
Exactly.
Like, and try hard, of course. Don't be like, okay, I fed
Yeah.
them dinner. I tried. Like, other aspects, actually emotionally
Yeah.
there for them. Because no matter
Hmm.
what, if you've noticed, they are always there for their kids. Like Bob and Linda are
Yeah.
always there for their kids. They make mistakes just like anybody does because they're human, but they're trying, and that's what matters.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like the people that may be saying that
Mm.
like that they're not the best parents, and because they equate like being a good parent with
Yeah.
perfection, is probably because they want to consider themselves a good
Hmm.
parent, but they see themselves lacking in places that Bob and Linda actually do succeed in.
Exactly. And it's just it hits a spot to me as a parent watching this episode because I'm
Hmm.
also a big advocate for like apologizing to your kids. And but Big
Yeah.
Bob does that. He tells Bob like I know I
Hmm.
was not always the best parent, but I had to
Yeah.
do it on my own after we both lost the most important person to us. Like
Hmm.
and that is extremely heart-wrenching and a great
Yeah.
point. Like when you've got I was a single mom for a while, so maybe that's why it hits me a little bit different. I didn't meet my husband till
Maybe.
my daughter was almost 5. So I
Hmm.
single mommed it for quite a while, and when you are the only one trying as hard as you can for your kid, it hits a little different.
Hmm.
So, see, now I'm getting all emotional.
Yeah. Feel free to leave this in or not, because I'm just curious. Is the chair on the stairs behind you almost like a burglar alarm for if the toddler walks
No, the
in?
toddler likes to move the chair around because
Okay.
if he has discovered he can climb on top of the chair and grab things out of his
Ah,
reach. And so we find the
gotcha.
chair in random places in the house.
Yeah, I just noticed that it was
Yeah.
in front of the doors. Again, feel free to keep this in or
Oh,
not.
I might.
But I'm
It's
like,
a
that would
little
be a
green chair that my almost 4-year-old uses for everything.
yeah. So like it would make sense to put it there, as like if he doesn't
Right.
see it, like he'll bump into it, and that is a good, because what you all haven't heard, because I did cut it out of a
Yeah.
recent episode, is we got jump scared by this child because
Yes.
he popped up and said hi, but neither of us saw him in the frame.
Because like a lot of people see, you might be able to see somewhat of the double doors behind me. There's a whole nother door in my house because this used to be a
Yeah.
garage, and he came through that one, and it's far quieter than these doors, and I
Yeah.
can't hear a thing. These are Bose headphones, like these block out almost everything, and he just
Yeah.
appeared, and he's only
Out of
like
nowhere.
this level, so like you just see the
All of a
top of
sudden,
his
just
head.
hearing. just hearing hi, like, where did you come from?
Lauren pulled the clip, but I almost want to just give it to the patrons just because it's that funny.
Yeah.
But no, like I'm happy you did enjoy this episode. We get more
Yeah.
moments like this throughout the show. Like I said, Bob's Burgers has made me cry more times than I want to admit. But I
Mhm.
do see this season as actually one of the seasons that people really start to fall in love with the show. They're not just like, oh, this is fun. I love watching this. This is where a lot of people really get hooked. And I think it's because
I can
they
see that.
bring in more of this.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I can see that.
And it's got growth.
It is. Well, because that's what you want out of a show. After
Yeah.
5 seasons, like, you don't want them to just, like, like, rest on their laurels and they know that they've got a formula that works. People like this, let's just keep doing it. Like, they're constantly, like, they're changing up their story structure and the way they're telling stories
Mm-hmm.
through these characters. Because it doesn't take very long for something very formulaic to get annoying. Like,
Oh
The
yeah.
Simpsons is still on the air after 36 years for some reason. And I do watch episodes here and there, not of,
Mm-hmm.
like, more recent ones, but at least in the time period that I stopped watching. And I'm like, this is the same formula they've been using for 35 years. Like, change anything.
Steven will throw on like the newer Simpsons episodes so he can watch them from time to time. And I just sit there while like I
Mhm.
watch them too. I have not as much context for like the history of the show because I know there's probably plenty of like connections and
Mhm.
stuff like that. Um, but like I enjoy it just as it is. Like it feels like
Yeah,
Family Guy is
it's
pretty much the same thing. Like I love Family Guy. I've always watched like that's one I've actually watched from beginning to end, but it was easier to do that.
mhm.
There weren't 35 seasons to get through.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I it's just and then I like I said before, I do need to get you to finish Crepopolis though, because we
Yes,
love if
eventually.
anybody didn't know already, we love Hannah Waddingham and she voices the
If
goddess
you've never
Deliria on there.
if you've never listened to this podcast before,
Right? Like we have a huge lesbian crush on Hannah Waddingham and no shame.
that we do.
And no shame.
Not at all.
The amount of times we message each other on Instagram and it's just Hannah Waddingham.
It's just it's a gif, it's a photo of us going I am no better than a man.
Yeah.
It's just a random reel that she's posted and it's like
That is a beautiful woman, and she is such a sweetheart.
she she's a beautiful woman inside and out. Her voice is just
That's why you need to watch Crepopolis because the things this
I
woman says,
know.
and it's with the guy that plays the one guy in What We Do in the Shadows. What's his name?
Yes. I don't know his name, but I
But
know who
they're
you're talking
husband
about.
and wife in this,
I
and
know.
the things these two say to each other, it is hilarious.
I think I've watched at least 5
I've
episodes.
watched Crepopolis. We finished. They got like a
Okay.
full 23, 24 episodes in their first season.
Dang.
Like we were
Good for them.
surprised. We kept seeing like every week we'd be like, "There's another episode. How is this still going?" Because we're so used to
Mhm.
newer shows only getting so many episodes that we're like, "What's happening?"
Yeah.
But back to Bob's Burgers. After we gushed over Hannah Waddingham, what did you score this?
All right. So this one got an 8 for plot.
Okay,
It was a solid plot to it's a solid holiday episode, I would say. Not too many complaints. It got a 10 for character because it's a lot of character growth obviously.
nah, Bean Boys. It's a
Yeah,
choice.
Bean Boy wasn't great. Like it was I liked the subplot of the kids with the Christmas presents. But like I would have liked to have seen Bean Boy. I would have liked to have seen Gene put in a little more effort.
Just a little. He's like, "Wait, my
A little bit.
sister's got this."
Yeah. So a little bit more. But it does get a 10 for character. Because it's a lot of heart in this episode. It's a lot of
Mm-hmm.
Bob understanding his father and vice versa, and it's very heartwarming to watch. And it gets a 9. It's good. Yeah, it gets a 9 for personal because it's just again it's a solid episode. This does get a 27 out of 30.
That is really good. Oh my god, this has been a good season for you.
Season 5's been a good season so far.
I am here for it. So this is a 30, and
Okay,
I didn't
I
expect it
I
to
expected
be.
that.
I didn't
I did.
originally, but I watched it and I almost started crying again. And I think it does go back to my single parent days because, like, I've always watched this episode and been kind of chill with it. Like, I like this episode; it's fun. I like
Hmm.
meeting his dad. But there was something about watching it this time that I was like, "Oh shit, this is some trauma for me." Like it did me in a little
Yeah.
bit. So I was like, "No,
Hmm.
this one really strikes at the heartstrings. I can't help it."
Yeah.
But it's a really good opener to like what we get later in different seasons as well because we get to
Hmm.
see somewhat this relationship grow a little bit. It's very like it's here and there. It's not like all the like we don't get to see it every season. But we get to eventually see them do better. Wow, wait, so how are you doing so far? That is insane. You are actually
Uh,
that's 6 episodes in.
6 episodes, and I can't tell you the average because it's accounting
Yeah,
for the zeros right now. But out of 6 episodes, we have a 26, a 30, a 24, a 28, another 26, and a 27.
that's really good compared
Yeah.
to season 4.
Season 4 was all over the place. It was
It
like
was.
solid mid. Season 4 was like I would say a lot of solid mid score episodes. Um, I mean, it's not going to be entirely winners, but like I'm on a good run right now. I mean, I won't lie and say sometimes it might be a little influenced by how the once episode of that week goes. Like if I'm in a good
True.
mood, because I will say sometimes mood does make a difference.
But
So
then
we'll
like
see.
you've had times where you had like a really bad like once episode though and Bob's like cheered you up. So,
Yeah, exactly. So it kind of depends. I guess we'll see how next week goes because I can tell you already next week's once episode. I'm gonna have thoughts, and I have a feeling I'm gonna enjoy talking about it a lot more than watching it.
I think you may like the next two a decent amount. What I'm really
Okay.
excited for apart from like just what we're leading up into.
Uh huh.
Next week will be pretty good, but another one that like hits really hard that you just can't help but love, I think is going to be I think it's episode 10. I love episode 10 so much. Oh my god.
Gotcha.
Um
Okay.
I'm going to probably end up with more 30s this season than I realized. Season 5 is like just really good,
I almost had 3 in a row for once. So
right? I
because
almost
actually,
had
how
3 in a
many?
row here cuz I had Dawn of the Peck was 30, Best Burger was 29, Father of the Bob's 30.
Yeah. Like I'm looking at my once scores. I've given 330s this season as well as 329s
Wow.
out of 17 episodes because I gave We Are Both a 29. I gave Into the Deep a 29. I gave The Queen of Hearts a 30. And then it was The Queen is Dead, The Miller's Daughter, and Welcome to Storybrooke were 30, 30, and 29.
We're having a good streak here.
It's a good run of these shows.
I'm ready to be like, all right, which show and which episode is going to be like, there goes the streak.
Well, for me, it's going to be next week on Once.
I don't know when it'll be for me, but we'll have to see.
Thank you all for listening. Join us next time when we discuss Once Upon a Time, episode 218, Selfless, Brave, and True. Don't forget to like, rate, and follow the podcast wherever you listen so you can be notified every time we publish a new episode. Follow us at OBDYK_pod on Instagram and TikTok. And if you'd like to join our book club, you can find the link with more details in our show notes.
This has been an episode of Okay, But Did You Know? A TV and media podcast. It was hosted by Katie and Lauren and edited by Katie.